Final scene, Tehran. Qazvini stood in the shrine of Fatima, surrounded by students. He lifted a book, ancient, bound in green velvet, and whispered to a messenger, "Call Beirut, call Caracas, call Istanbul. The third blade is ready." The Secret Service didn't know. The FBI was outmaneuvered. Only Josh Dagan and Ayalon, operating under total silence, stood between the former president and an international act of war. 3 shooters, 1 ghost operative, and a fatwa that's far from over. The third blade. In Tehran, the world doesn't move, it waits. Cleric Qazvini, no longer hid in the shadows. 2 failed attacks had not broken him. They had emboldened him. The third blade will not miss, he told his inner circle. This time, the strike wouldn't be in a battlefield. Not in Pennsylvania, not in London. This time, it would be everywhere at once. Asitwan, 3 cities. Caracas, Beirut, Istanbul. 3 cities, oceans apart, yet each handpicked for its strategic value. Each hosting a piece of the third blade. Mossad's internal alert system, Unit 8200, picked up chatter days before anything moved. In Caracas, a Venezuelan shipping tycoon, longtime Iranian sympathizer, was preparing a convoy of containers, one marked diplomatic cargo. In Beirut, a known Hezbollah operative disappeared from Daye and reappeared on a private flight to South Africa without passport clearance. In Istanbul, a dual-national Turkish-Iranian ex-intelligence agent was seen entering the Grand Bazaar with Bushra, a former Iranian nuclear scientist. One long thought dead. None of these cities were the targets. They were launch points. The question wasn't who would die. It was what. Act 2, the briefing. Dagan stood before the Mossad war board with Ayalon, Director Tamir, and 2 senior analysts. A satellite image glowed in pale blue. Tamir pointed. "This isn't a hit. It's something worse. Coordinated cyber, economic, and possibly bioweapon sabotage. Iran wants to shake Western foundations before the US election." Dagan narrowed his eyes. 3 blades, 3 cities. They strike simultaneously. Number? "That's the genius," Ayalon answered. "They're testing, looking for which strike hits the heart hardest. Then they commit the final blow." Dagan spoke calmly. "Split us. I take Caracas, Ayalon, Beirut, Tamir. And Istanbul, someone local will assist. Turkish intelligence wants deniability. You'll be on your own." Dagan smiled. "As always, Act 3, Caracas, the silent port." The Venezuelan port was chaotic, loud, corrupt. Disguised as a South African diplomat, Dagan infiltrated the shipping zone. In a high-security warehouse, he located the crate labeled DREZ-947, the one flagged by Mossad. Inside, a mobile EMP device. Iranian-built, designed to be detonated on US soil via maritime shipment. Its destination? Port of Houston. Dagan took photographs, sent them to Tel Aviv. Then he burned the entire warehouse down. Act 4, Beirut, the ghost's eyes. Ayalon tracked his target to an abandoned hospital in the hills above Beirut. There, Hezbollah was constructing a makeshift command hub. Wired with encrypted radio signals, satellite uplinks, and a mobile disinformation suite designed to fabricate US election interference via deepfake technologies. Ayalon found the servers, rerouted the signal to Unit 8200, then blew the foundation with C4. "Tell Qazvini," Ayalon whispered into the dead radio, "Beirut is closed for business." Act 5, Istanbul, the nuclear mirage. Dagan's contact in Istanbul was a woman named Leyla Sarikaya, once a field agent for Turkish MIT, now living in exile under diplomatic protection. She'd been tracking the Iranian nuclear scientist, Farid Hashemzadeh, who had defected years ago, then vanished. Now he was back. In the Grand Bazaar, under cover of chaos, Dagan and Leyla confronted Hashemzadeh in a hidden tea house. Why now? Dagan asked him. Because the final plan is already in motion, the scientist answered. You've stopped 2 blades. The third is not here. It's already in New York. Layla looked at Dagan, horror blooming. A chemical strike? Worse, Dagan whispered. A blackout, financial paralysis, digital collapse, election manipulation. They had on 48 hours. Washington, D.C. In the basement of a suburban Maryland mosque, a clean-cut man speaks Farsi into a burner phone. Behind him, a wall of servers and a high-frequency satellite link. Yes, he says, the fire is lit. Blackout Manhattan. The sky over Manhattan looked calm, too calm. Beneath it, a system was already unraveling. The third blade, it wasn't made of steel. It was made of code, wires, and silence. And it was already inside the city. Act 1. The arrival. Josh Dagan walked out of JFK Airport under the name Matthew Singer, a mid-level Israeli trade liaison. Ayalon came separately through a diplomatic corridor at Tehran, United Nations headquarters. They met at a parking garage off in Lexington Avenue, 2 levels underground beneath the sound of the city. A Mossad cyber warfare analyst was waiting. Yarden Salem, early 30s, steel nerves, eyes glued to a laptop. We traced Fareed Hashemzadeh's digital blueprint here, she said. It's a financial kill switch, a coordinated cyber strike targeting the U.S. economy. If they trigger it, Wall Street freezes. Dagan raised an eyebrow. What's the method? A custom virus seeded through high-speed trading platforms, but it's not enough to destroy data. They want to trigger chaos. Bank runs, stock collapse, wipe out trust. Ayalon asked the next question. Where's the hub? Yarden pointed to the screen. A blinking red node sat just north of the city. Hudson Heights. They built a ghost server farm under a mosque construction site. Iranian Revolutionary Guard handlers are already inside. Act 2. The Hunt in the Heights. Under cover of night, the team moved. Dagan and Ayalon approached the mosque from opposite ends. There were no cameras, no guards at the gate, but the air smelled like sweat and solder. Too warm for the hour. Inside, the basement wasn't a prayer hall. It was a digital war room. 6 men, 3 servers, a microwave uplink, and a yes countdown timer. On the screen, 004519, 0045, 18, 004517. Ayalon whispered into comms. They're launching it in under an hour. Dagan, no time for backup. They moved fast. Dagan went loud. Silencer. 2 shots. 1 man dropped by the server rack. A second raised a pistol. Ayalon took him from above. Chaos erupted in that basement. IRGC operatives tried to wipe the servers as they fought. Dagan lunged forward, shot out the main power feed. Yarden patched in remotely, cloned the data mid-fight, seizing the virus before it could launch. In 3 minutes, it was over. 6 men down, servers frozen, virus stolen. Act 3, the 4th screen. But 1 screen remained active. A backup monitor came online, not connected to the others. A video file auto-played. Qazvini's face Ross appeared, pre-recorded. You have severed the blades, but the war is not over. If you cut 1 hand, we grow another. We are not after Trump alone. We are after what he represents, the belief that America cannot fall. Then static. Yarden stared at the monitor. This wasn't the last move, she whispered. It was the dress rehearsal. Tamir's voice was low. The war has come home.